Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Art Tightrope Walking with me, Ian J. Franks, as your host. This is a video series resulting from a collaboration between Amplify Results Consulting and Rentouch, where we aim to help you understand some of the things that you can do to mitigate the challenges of working with a distributed agile release train. In this episode, we're talking about risk roaming, the Competence Vote, and how to run a retrospective for your distributive PI planning event. Art Tightrope Walking with me, Ian J. Franks, resulting from a collaboration between Amplify Results Consulting and Rentouch. So, now you've presented your draft and final plans, you've only got a few things left to do before you can confirm and commit to your PI objectives. First comes the risk roaming. In the last episode, we talked about how you could use the PI planning app to demonstrate your draft and final plans. Well, you can also use this to help you with your risk roaming exercise for your program level. The planning app has the ability to capture all the risks raised by the team and push to program level, and you can use this as a tool that means there's visibility to everybody in all of the remote locations to A, the risks, and B, the decisions and discussions you make to decide how to roam them. This simple approach ensures visibility and engagement with everybody and ensures that everybody understands exactly which risks are going to be owned, which are being accepted, whether we've got plans to mitigate, and which ones have been resolved, helping the teams to have a clear understanding of how they might vote in the Competence Vote that's to come. Moving on to the Competence Vote itself, obviously with everybody in one room, this would be quite simple, and we would just ask people to raise their hands and indicate their level of confidence. This is not so easy when you have teams dotted around the globe and you're running a distributed planning event. One of the things I've done in the past is schedule a small break to take place just before the confidence vote and allow each of the teams to quickly stretch their legs, but use that time for them to cast their own votes for how their view is as a team, which the Scrum Masters can quickly send to me as the release train engineer for me to collate and present when we come back after the break. This seems to be a fairly simple way to get a view, but I'm sure there are other ways and maybe other things you've tried. But you will need to find a way to be able to have all of the team's voices heard to understand how confident the release train itself is in delivering the planned objectives. Lastly, you're going to want to finish off your planning event by having a retrospective on the planning event itself. Just as all good teams are regularly running retrospectives on their process, we should be doing the same at program level, and we should be running a retrospective so we can learn from the PI planning event we've just had and improve things for next time around. Again, if you have everybody in one room, this is a much simpler exercise than it is when you have a distributed agile release train. Working with distributed teams, you need to find another way to be able to handle this very important exercise. One of the things I've done in the past is to allow, again, each of the teams to do their own retrospective on the planning event and submit those back in through Confluence or some kind of wiki where they can flag and highlight their items that they've come up with. This seems to work well, particularly when you are dealing with extreme time zones, where for one team it may already be very late in the evening, and so asking them to now spend another 15 minutes, 20 minutes doing a retrospective may mean that the quality of the feedback doesn't really help you too much, as they may be thinking about just trying to get home to their beds. So you could also consider allowing those teams to perhaps do their retrospective the following morning and provide the information by the end of the week. So assuming you're finishing your planning event on a Thursday, they could perhaps do something on the Friday morning, and then by your Friday, in the time zone you're in, you have all the information available from all of the teams, which you can then use to progress forwards. If you use one single wiki, it also means that all the teams can see what has already been commented on, and you can have upvoting, or you can avoid duplications at least. So there are a number of ways to approach it, but it is important that you have that retrospective. So I think that concludes episode 9 and some information on how you might wrap up your PI planning event itself. I hope those ideas have been useful. If you have other ideas of your own, I'd love to hear them, so please do get in touch. Other than that, I hope this stuff helps you stay safe out there. Thanks very much.